Hey everybody, you're listening to Second Round Steals as we go through our 2015-2016 NBA team previews. Be sure to check out the rest of our previews, and don't forget to stay tuned with us for regular updates throughout the season.
Hey, okay, so we're continuing with our NBA preview podcast. Now we're moving on to the Charlotte Hornets. So last year they were 33-49 and they missed the playoffs. So any reflections on last season of the Hornets fan?
They were weird. I don't know. I don't know what caused them to collapse, honestly. I guess like Kemba Walker getting that injury, but there wasn't too much change made to this roster that should have imploded them. You know, there's the addition of Lance Stephenson, and while he turned out to be a bust. I don't know. I didn't think he was that negative of a locker room presence to like reduce them to 33 wins.
Yeah, I agree. I think towards the end of the season, they really fell apart.
Yeah, there was one time when they were trying out Mo Williams as their starter. Mm-hmm. That definitely wasn't great for them, but I don't know. I also don't know where Lance's game went for that, but I mean, we'll cover that in the Clippers. So yeah, what are the key additions of this offseason? They traded for Nick Batum.
Yep, they traded Don Lang.
Yeah. They added Tyler Hansbrough. That's a great energy pickup, I feel, for them. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. They drafted Aaron Harrison. They got Spencer Hawes, Jeremy Lin, and obviously their big pick, Frank Kaminsky. For the losses department, they lost out on Biyombo to the Raptors. Gerald Henderson obviously was involved in that trade for Batum, as was Noah Vonleh, said before.
Lost Lance Stephenson.
Yeah, that was the trade for Spencer Hawes.
And they got rid of Mo Williams too. He was decent as a backup for when Walker was out.
Yeah. All right, so projected lineup for this team. They have Walker. Obviously, Kemba's going to be starting at point guard.
Yep.
That's a given. This one got weird, though, because of the recent injury to Kidd-Gilchrist.
Yeah.
So
it's surprising we didn't mention that until now.
Yeah, I mean, it sucked. It sucked. He looked amazing, and have you seen he is a plus 10 turnaround for this team. They're like plus 3.9 when he's on the floor. They're minus 7 or something like that when he went to the bench. For a guy that can't shoot, he provides a lot to this team.
It really sucks that he tore his shoulder in a preseason game.
Yeah.
He's going hard.
It's disappointing, but I mean that's optimism for next year at least if this core can do well.
So you'd have Batum?
Batum's going to be playing the small forward spot. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to bring Jeremy Lamb up on that starting shooting guard. I know there's been a lot of talk about him starting for them now that the injury opened it up.
Yeah.
And I think he fits it in well.
Yeah, he has a lot of... Him and Batum are just a really long wing defenders.
Yeah, and I mean, all he really needs to do is fill in some shooting touch, and he's shown he can, so I think he might do well in this lineup, but we'll talk about that. Power forward. I think they're going to run with... This one's tough. I mean, I think they're going to run with Frank Kaminsky just because of upside, but the smart money goes on starting Cody Zeller just to give him that last chance.
For sure.
Yeah.
Kaminsky's more of a center, I feel.
I mean, not for a couple of years until he bulks up, but I think he's more of that stretch 4, like a Nowitzki type right now, but we'll see. I mean, I think they should take Kaminsky off the bench. They're a team with playoff aspirations, and I think they should play, the established talent before they start relying on a rookie.
And Jefferson. Yeah,
and obviously Jefferson at the center. So this lineup's really kind of interesting. Obviously, we know Walker's limitations by now. He's not a great passer. He's not a great shooter. But
so we can't really do anything?
But no, he's decent at spot-ups, and he's really quick off the dribble. So he can make looks for himself. That's never been an issue. But I think adding Batum to this lineup really gives them everything that they lacked. Mm-hmm. He provides that shooting. He is a good shot creator, even in that down season he had last year due to like injuries and just the fact that he was playing with a ridiculous amount of minutes with constant all-stars. I think he plays good defense. I don't think he's as hyped as, he was the last couple of years.
Yeah.
People really thought he was an amazing defender, and I don't think that applies. I think he's a solid defender. I don't think he's ridiculous. But he's really good at passing the ball. That's one of his key things. He's really good at distributing, and without a point guard that's doing that, you need someone to. And I think Batum provides that for them now. You're going to have a lot of wide open shots for this team. Jefferson's going to suck them in, and then you can pass it to Batum, who's going to shoot it out to somebody else for a spot up three, which is going to be really good. Another thing,
I don't feel like Batum won't be that great. I mean, last year you were saying he was kind of injured, but in the past couple of years he hasn't really shown what he could be. He's definitely has the physical attributes to be a good player. He can shoot it if he wants to, but Dan McGuire, it was a pretty balanced trade with the Trailblazers. I didn't really see them getting any better with Batum, but at least they have a starter at 3 now to replace Kidd-Gilchrist.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they were also missing that shooting touch, and
right.
For whatever Batum is, he can shoot. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to become the superstar that a lot of people are saying he's going to be on this roster. I'm just saying he gives them a jack of all trades when they're kind of missing, those 3 key things: shooting, passing, and defense.
Right.
And even if he's just a solid role player, that could go a far way to being an excellent player on this team. But we'll see. It remains to be seen if last year was a fluke or not. Kaminsky, I have him receiving good minutes for this team. Honestly, he's going to be good. And the Hornets are lacking for depth and just overall talent. And I think you really need to let him get those reps in. Even if it might hurt your chances in some games, or you think it will, he really needs to start establishing himself. Otherwise, you're going to be missing out on a future prospect. Zeller, obviously there's been talk like he's not good enough. Kaminsky's going to start over him. He's not providing the Hornets what they wanted, but I mean, he's still good. I don't know. I look at Zeller and there's so much untapped potential there. He's not an amazing floor spacer for them. That's obviously what they want, but he still provides defense for this team when Jefferson is a negative in that department, I think they should give Cody a little bit more run than they seem to be.
Yeah, I guess I agree. I mean, moving on to stat, what did you have as their big stat?
3-point percentage as one of them. I actually had 2 stats for them. So one was the 3-point percentage because they have all the makings of a 4 out, 1 in team. If Jefferson clogs that paint, then you can have 4 shooters around him.
Yeah.
But they've been really bad at converting those shots. This team might have the best chance. If you have Batum distributing the ball, we've seen Walker can do well on spot-ups. He can't create his own shot. So maybe, just maybe, they can start getting him going. Lamb can finally get his touch. And Batum just continues what he's been doing. I think they can become really good. And obviously, if you have Kaminsky out there, that'd be nice. Second one, assists. But that's what I've been talking about. Batum really does well distributing the ball. And it takes the pressure off Walker. So maybe you see the two of them start doing better in that department.
Right. And for my stat, I had it as 95.8, which is Michael Kidd-Gilchrist's defensive rating last year. For all NBA starters, he only traded Zaza Pachulia and Andrew Bogut.
Zaza?
In defensive rating. The god.
That's...
Zaza Pachulia, sorry.
Wow.
So, yeah, with the loss of Kidd-Gilchrist, they're losing a lot on their team.
Yeah.
We're really, I guess, you could really define them by their defense. And losing Kidd-Gilchrist and losing his energy and replacing it with, I guess, okay guy in Nicholas Batum and Jeremy Lamb, who's kind of disappears at times, it won't be great for them. And I really don't believe in Kemba Walker shooting. You're a lot more optimistic about me with this team.
No, I'm optimistic on the spot-ups. I don't think him doing the constant UConn shuffle is going to work out for them.
He shot it at 38% last year, just about.
Yeah.
It was only 1% better than Dion Waiters.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting that out there.
So, big picture for this team, I have them without Kidd-Gilchrist. They should really focus on developing Kaminsky. I was talking about that before. The rest of the core is relatively young, except for Jefferson, really. Like, the core guys they want. Batum's only 26. It feels like he's been around forever, but
yeah.
I think there should be some anticipated growth from Zeller, especially now that he has to kind of fight for his roster spot. And so he's kind of going to be a safety net. Between him and Kaminsky, I think you're going to have a set 4-5 combo in the future.
Right.
I think this team could be a big sleeper next year. Not this year, but next year once they get Kidd-Gilchrist back out there.
Yeah, I guess I'd have the same view on the team. Like I said before, I'm a little bit less optimistic about them. They were one of the worst offensive teams in the league last year. They were third worst in offensive rating, even with Al Jefferson, who's very, very solid offensive center, and Kemba Walker, who probably does some good things along with bad.
Yeah.
They got better, I feel like. Batum is an upgrade over Stevenson, and Jeremy Lin is about the same as Mo Williams at this stage. But other than that, I really don't see them making a drastic leap or drastic fall. I think they're going to stay about the same as what they were. And the thing about Frank Kaminsky is the Boston Celtics offered 6 draft picks for him, and the Hornets said no. So
yeah, that was
they
ridiculous.
should really bank on developing him into something substantial.
Yeah, exactly. So, excitement level, what do you have them at?
I have them at a 3.0. Like I was saying before, their offense wasn't great last year. Al Jefferson is pretty intriguing, but he gets repetitive after a while. And like you've been saying about Kemba Walker, he's a pretty bad shooter once he pulls up. And I really don't know what to think about Frank Kaminsky and the rest of the team. They're not really that exciting, but I guess seeing Michael Jordan on the sidelines will be pretty interesting, for sure.
Yeah, maybe seeing him.
Their uniforms.
I have him as a 5, 4 to a 5. Just because, like you said, Jefferson's always kind of cool to watch play. I really think Batum might help their offense. He gives them somebody to run the offense through. He kind of acted as its second point guard in Portland because they didn't have anyone outside of Lillard to run the offense. But I also even though he's not going to be efficient, just watching Kemba can sometimes be so much fun. When he does his little hop shot, it's great. But yeah, I just think the watchability goes right down when you know what you're getting out of them. And even though Batum adds a little bit of mystery to what their offense could look like, it's not going to be enough to make them an amazing squad, I don't think. I think they're going to stick around the same, and it's just going to be a lot of heart-breaking losses. So, yeah, I have them as a 5 right now.
Mm-hmm. And as for how do you think they're going to do this year? Wins, losses?
I think they're going to take a little step forward. I think 35 wins.
Mm-hmm. So it's 2-win improvement?
Yeah, I think yeah. Maybe 35, maybe even go up to 38, but that's the best they could hope for. Yeah, I don't think they're 41 team.
In the running for the 8th seed.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if things go out right for them. Yeah, I have them exactly the same, 33 and 49, missing the playoffs, because this team basically broke even in the offseason. Losing Kidd-Gilchrist might hurt their defense a little bit, but
yeah,
I don't think it's that major of a loss.
Yeah. I mean, definitely without Kidd-Gilchrist, they're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about social media? What we got on them?
So, Frank Kaminsky, at the rookie photo shoot, they had a Reddit Ask Me Anything. So, one thing I like about the Charlotte Hornets is they have some really likable players. You talked about how Kemba Walker is pretty interesting to watch, and people always mention him dancing at the Apollo when he was a kid. Al Jefferson seems like a nice guy. Nicholas Batum is okay, even though he punched a guy in the balls in the Euro Cup or the FIBA Worlds last year. But Frank Kaminsky and Jeremy Lin, they're two quality follows on social media.
Yeah.
So Frank Kaminsky started, I got off track with the Reddit asking anything. Somebody asked him his go-to dance move. I started laughing for no reason other than the fact that Frank Kaminsky answered his go-to dance move is the white girl at the club. And Jeremy Lin too. He has a new haircut.
Oh, Jeremy Lin's hair, he went all out. It's looking amazing right there.
How do you think he's gonna play this year?
I mean, maybe the hair was in his eyes all these past years.
Yeah.
He's gonna be, back to insanity. I think he's gonna provide what he always provided. I don't think it was really fair what they did to him in LA.
Yeah.
They just pined him to the bench, and he's worth a spot. He's not a bad player.
I personally thought it was a great signing for them.
Yeah, no, definitely is.
It wasn't great, but they had a lot worse options. They could have signed like C.J. Watson or players along those lines, but he was probably the best backup point guard.
I think he gives them some solid depth. I really do.
Yeah. Anything else to add about Charlotte?
No, that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm just really hoping on Kaminsky and Lin, because I'm really not sold on Jefferson and Walker, and maybe Batum a little bit as well. They just have some okay players that are a little bit inconsistent, but aside from that, they should be a decent, maybe contender for the 8th seed.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
Right.
All right, until next time.
Hey, thanks for listening to Second Round Steals, our NBA podcast. Please be sure to check out the rest of our 2015-2016 NBA team previews, and stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of different podcasts, probably weekly, and we'll be there every step of the way covering all the drama, great games, great plays, and highlights of the NBA season. So please be sure to check us out on iTunes, on SoundCloud, and on YouTube for your podcast needs. And stay tuned for more content outside of podcasts, like videos and articles, and even probably live discussions. Thanks for listening.